I tried to get a copy of it, and it just kept coming out poor. It was very hollow, and if anybody spent any time with Mike in the last 3 weeks, everybody knows about how obsessed he was with Mumford and Sons. Piper can attest to this, because she was... How many times did he force you to listen to it?
He made me buy a bunch of them while I was at work.
Like, on the third night of a 12-hour shift of him having it on repeat, playing out of his phone.
I was like, with his little stand, his little kickstand on his phone. He's like, I have the coolest phone. It has a kickstand. Now listen to my music. I'm like, again?
He was really, really passionate about it, and so like I kind of went and found something, and I put it together, and it didn't feel right, and I think this worked better. And like I was trying to say earlier, I really only had last night and this morning, I haven't been to bed yet, to put this together. There's going to be a lot more when we're done. It'll all be available online, and I'm going to put a DVD together. This is just the start. Mike had so many pictures and had so much stuff to go through. Every time I turn around, there's another file of pictures of Joshua's first birthday, or daycare, at Daniel in Portland with kids going down the slide and playing in the ball pit. And it's crazy how much stuff he has. You watch me go through it all, so there's a lot more coming, and I really want to do something good for You Are My Sunshine and True. I can't say it. You got it. So I apologize for the time crunch. It's that whole I have to work. I don't know what it is. Bills and got to keep this guy going. So there will be something, Irene. I promise. I promise.
Okay. I just knew he sang that a lot, and the kids would probably always remember that.
When you still remember that? Do you remember it?
Forgot it already.
Oh, yeah.
Daniel and Joshua, I can't tell you this. I have talked to your father at least once a season for 28 years. So 4 times a year if you do the math. And lots of times when we're going through something, we talk a lot. And the only thing that your dad said in the last 5 years is every moment that he got to spend with you guys was more important than any other moment he got to spend with anybody else. And you have to know that. You don't know how much he loved you. And I don't know how much you'll ever realize how much he sacrificed for you guys to be a part of your lives when a lot of other guys would ran away. That's something that's very fair to say to your dad. And I just know how much he loved you guys because he talked about you guys a lot. He was given the things that he might have wanted in life more than anything else, and he passed on them just to spend time with you guys. So each and every moment that he got to spend with you, he considered more precious than life itself. Does anybody want to share anything else? Well, I'll just kind of finish off and give you guys a chronology of Mike's life a little bit. This is where I have something that's somewhat prepared. What a lot of you guys might not know about Mike is Mike studied the Bible a lot. Our friendship actually began with our pursuit of studying the Bible. And a lot of the insight and wisdom that Mike displayed, he would tell you he got much of it from the Bible. And a lot of it was sage intuition. So to not know about the story of Jesus is really to not know a little bit about who Mike was, and a major part of who Mike was. Mike actually, of all things, and you probably knowing him his last 3 years would never imagine that. But he was, when he was about 23 years old, going to enter the full gospel hall. Church brethren, they believed in no pastors. Mike found that to be very true to the Bible. He was very fundamentalist at that time. And yet they all wore, Mike was very serious about his religious belief when he was a young man. And I'm not saying he wasn't as an older man too. It was just a little bit more of a, let's call it a tolerant and loving attitude that he had toward people at the end of his life. I think when he and I were both younger, we wanted to put the whole world in boxes. And the older you become, you realize that, there's just people out there. And people all over the place are hurting. And when you have to deal with a death like this, some people question, and that's called doubt. Some people believe. And it's faith. And I'm not going to say Mike had the greatest faith, but he had faith. But he was really honest with the truth. And I'll tell you this, about Mike, he was concerned with the truth. He really was. That's in everything he talked about, and his pursuit of the truth was a big part of his life when he was younger. It was a part that him and I shared because we weren't afraid to talk about things like, why did God send his son to die for us? And if you're a parent, you finally get it. When you have a boy, you finally know. Because there'd be nothing more painful for you than to have to give up the life of your son instead of your own. When you're a parent, you finally get that. And we would talk about things like that in great depth. And you have to know that it was a major part of Mike's life. It was a major part of who he was. When he was older, he kind of like, he looked at other beliefs and said, yeah, probably not as good, but I'm going to say, hey, they're saying 5 plus 3 is 7, it's pretty close. Or 5 plus 3 is 9, it's pretty close. This is probably better, but instead of trying to find division, I might be happy that there's unity. And that's the way Mike was at the end of his life, and I think it's very touching like that. But I do think that Mike's the kind of guy who would want you to explore your faith. We want you to question your motives. We want you to see who the person you are and certainly embrace the truth, whatever the truth is. So I think that needs to be said about his life, that he believed in God and he believed what Jesus came to do in life, which is to live sacrificially. Jesus said to John, when he was dying on the cross, he said, behold my mother. John, it's kind of like that, Irene, you're like, because I consider my brother, you're like my mother. So, at least you're going to gain me a little bit. I already said about being Dr. Phil. I guess we pretty much covered everything, but I did write a sonnet. Shakespeare. Sonnets, A, B, C, D, C, D, F, G, G, in case you were. It's all 10 syllables. I worked it out. Mike would appreciate the fact that I did all the math.
Being a math teacher.
Being a math teacher, I like sonnets because they're 10 syllables each. And I think you all relate to the pain that I feel at this point. Farewell, my friend, who comforted my soul. Your time may have passed, but not so in vain. With your words you helped me to become whole, and in your absence I feel such great pain. With your ears you led me to find my voice. In your heart I found refuge from the storm. With your wisdom I realized the right choice. From this chaos my life found its true form. What will be of my path without your guidance? How much darker a world once filled with light? Will my troubles be left to the winds of chance? Will I grope along blind without your sight? Go, my friend, into the infinite sea. Forever you will live in our memory.
You just hit play on the DVD, it'll just go. It's down at the bottom, right-hand corner.
Right-hand corner. I'm
Lower,
getting
lower,
retarded
lower,
again.
Joshua and Daniel know where it is. Where's the play button?
Their roll.
Other side. I think it's the other one. Yeah. Yep. It's okay. It's okay. No worries. Yeah. Give me a couple minutes, okay? I'll text you later. Yeah, I'll text you later. I'm coming, guys. Yeah, Joel is a technical genius. He's all over it.
Okay.
What's that? It's just right on the it's just right on the side. There you go. There you go. Just hit play. There you go.
Is it spelled PLA?
Let's catch up. Hurry up.
I'm sorry, that was all I was able to do.
Thank you, Mikey. That was beautiful.
There'll be more later. I gotta get some sleep first. What's that?
And thank you.
It's a great
Dr. Martin.
topic.
That was wonderful.
Good, I'm glad you liked it. I went a little rogue there at the end, I'm sorry. But I think it kind of sums up everything he was thinking. And that's the one thing I realized through all this is he just cared so much about you boys. I don't even think you guys can even begin to understand now. And I just hope that I can be as good of dad to my son as he is to you.
No man.
Every breath you took was for you guys. And I now know how hard he had to fight to keep you and keep loving you, and he's a better man than I think 90% of the world knows. I thought I knew nothing. And you boys were deeply loved. And I can't begin to even imagine how much patience and grace, and I think Martin kind of made a synopsis in almost the simplest of terms, and any problem I ever brought to him, it's nothing in comparison of what he struggled through on multiple levels. And I'm gonna really miss him a lot. A lot. Best friend. Just my sounding board. Probably saved my marriage twice. And I mean that with the most. And I mean it with the most sincerity, man. And I mean, recently, the other night, it was just a couple weeks ago, I just did this big sound off, and I was like, dude, am I crazy? He's like, no, well, but you still better buy flowers. And so I go home, and I buy flowers, and I spend all this money, and it worked out really well, and I was like, man, that really made my day, really made everything better. So I go to text Mike, and I text him, I was like, dude, thank you for the great call, but I bought orchids, and, those are money, a bunch of dollar signs, this, that, and the other, and I sent it. Then I get a text back from my wife saying, I think you meant to send this to someone else. To which I had to explain, and once I explained it was Mike, it was okay, but I think if it had been anybody else, I probably would have had to atone for it. She's like, oh, it's Mike. Oh, no worries. It's Mike.
She wanted you to listen to Mike.
Yeah, she's like, oh, no.
Mike is the sounding board for a woman because she knows that. Because the men will be a little more sensitive.
And it's just a huge loss. And I don't think any of us really got there yet. But I'm going to continue, like I said, I'll try and enjoy every new piece of technology for the both of us. I will try and enjoy a fluffernutter every now and then. And I'm not doing the ravioli and peanut butter, sorry. But I'm definitely going to try and live my life for two mics and do what he would have thought was right. Because, man, he was a good guy. And it just gonna miss him, man.